What is going on, everybody? Boilon here and back for another video. Happy Monday, by the way. Yeah, we're just around the corner from patch 7.3, and today it's not really a crazy video by any means, but I'm doing a little bit of a roster review on myself. Kind of want to share with you all what I'm up to right now. It's been a little while since I've done something like this, and I've been perpetually so gold poor these days that, like, honestly, I don't think I've ever been this bad off. Normally, I'm someone who is pretty good at hoarding gold, but there's a few things that I have decided to do lately, which, if you asked me about a week or two ago, or even 3 weeks ago, I would have said no. And what am I doing? I am finally getting around to building Big Boy Apocalypse. And what I mean is I'm actually finishing off the rest of my characters that I need to enter the apocalyptic saga. We're going to talk about all of what I am up to and more in this video. So if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this down. So, why now? Why did I've been resisting this for some time. And I think the reason why is just because I've been trying to focus on the things in front of me. And, I'm one that, a person that kind of says that, is it's really important to focus on the new characters. And that's what I've been doing with Bifrost. I finally, more or less, finished with them. I haven't finished them completely, but I am able to sim what I need to for Incursion 1.3. And for the moment, I am putting them aside because I don't see us getting into 1.4. We need blue 4 for everyone, but we're just not a hardcore alliance that way. So I actually don't even need Beta Ray Bill. I found a way that I can sim 1.3 Incursion with the 4 Bifrost, including Sylvie, though, who I know is not available yet, free to play, and Morgan Le Fay, who I finally got the Pestilence costume after, upgrading all of the characters to Gear 17. And that's why I was honestly so resistant to bringing them up. And I just want to share with you, my journey and a little bit of my story. Why did I not want to do this? First of all, I hate that each of the teams have characters that are pretty meh. Scarlet Witch is super expensive to gear. She has 5 pieces of gear required for the next gear tier, with the exception of the armor piece. 4. Not 5, sorry, 4. Still a lot, though, for a character like Scarlet Witch. And I really didn't want to do this for gear tier 17. Honestly, it made me cringe, and my heart sank just by hitting that upgrade button. But I did go through with doing it. So I finally upgraded them all to level 90. I didn't have any of the other ones to gear 17 other than Morgan Le Fay. And I bit the bullet. This cost me an additional maybe 10 million gold, plus my minis, of course, to do this, and I was able to do that. The other reason why I've decided to do this, too, is because of the amount of blue 5 ions that I'm sitting on. I realized, and I've calculated this, and I'm going to show you this in a spreadsheet that I designed for myself, that I do have enough blue 5 ions now to do all the characters that are missing for me. And there is a number. It's about 20 million or so blue 5 ions if you have Baby Apocalypse. And I'm going to show you this in a spreadsheet later on, but I just kind of want to go through my progress. So this is the second costume that I had. The first costume that I did was actually Death Seed. So I thought, obviously because they are a raid team, that we're most likely still going to be using an Incursion 2. I don't think they're going to be dumped that soon because there's a legendary attached. I think they'll be fine. If not, I'd be very surprised, honestly. But I did get the costume first for Archangel before I got the Pestilence one. So there we are. I did that. Obviously, there's some characters in here that I also didn't really like upgrading. Magneto's very expensive, but that's okay. We might need him maybe for level 95, possibly for Dark Dimension 6. Depends on how slow you are getting in there with the other new legendary characters. But Psylocke, I believe, is really expensive as well. I think she needs 4. Does she need 4? Yeah, she does. And so she's kind of like the Scarlet Witch of... She's not as bad as Scarlet Witch, I'll be honest, but I still didn't feel great having to do it anyways. There's one character per team that's like that. And so for Unlimited X-Men, that's gonna... actually, you know what? I'm not sure if I can do it. I think I ran out of minis. Yeah, I did. I got Gambit up to Gear 17, but then for the rest of them, I don't think I have enough to do all of them. So I'm close, but no cigar. I do have all the ions that I need, but I don't have the minis. So I am looking out for them. Not this piece. Is it this one? Yeah. So I think I need about 100 maybe, or I don't know how many total I need. Phantom X is pretty cheap. Dazzler's pretty cheap. And I believe, who's the other one? Sunfire is not too bad. I think it's like 2, 3, 3, something like that. I might be missing like 100 T17 minis. But anyways, Phantom X luckily is the bad character on Unlimited X-Men, but he's not that expensive. He only needs actually 2 pieces, if I'm mistaken, so it's not super bad. It's not as bad as Scarlet Witch and Psylocke, so that's fine there. I won't be able to do this yet, and so my next character, my next team, my third team that I'm going to be upgrading is going to be Gamma and Red Hulk, and Gamma does have that character that I don't like to build, and that one's going to be She-Hulk. She-Hulk is very expensive. I believe that she may in fact be 5. She is. I'm pretty sure she's 5. She's actually the worst. She's on par with Magneto. 5 gear pieces at 17. I'm pretty sure though I still have enough to do all of them. I got Hulk to gear 17. That means I need to spend an additional like 10 million gold to get the rest of them up to level 90, put their gear 17 in, and we're good to go. The other characters I don't mind too bad, but She-Hulk, I don't know. Like, she's not the worst. She's probably better than Scarlet Witch, but again, I just feel bad about these characters that I have to dump in these Gear 17 minis, and of course the Blue 5 Ions eventually, which I'm going to have to do for these characters as well. And it just doesn't feel good because I don't. I don't know. Maybe am I the only one who just feels bad about having to dump resources into certain characters that I just really don't want to? And all of this is, for at the end of the day, 23 upgrades for one character. Is he still going to be great? Well, that's the funny thing, because what we've seen from the Secret Defenders clip makes it sound like, yes, we are still going to need him. So my Apocalypse is down here somewhere, and he's actually going to be my first mutant character. Oh, maybe I passed him already. He is going to be my first mutant character to gear tier 18. For Dark Dimension 6. So, I might as well do this, and mostly it's because I'm sitting on that boatload of Blue 5 Ions. In fact, Blue 4 Ions specifically, stopped being a bottleneck for me quite some time ago. I have more than enough that I need to upgrade all my characters. You do need Blue 4 Ions to upgrade to Blue 5, though, so make sure you do that and keep that in mind. And actually, shockingly, I don't know why my Apocalypse is not upgraded. Maybe it's because I hadn't decided what ISO I was going to continue to use for him, and I'm not sure why I'm using Skirmisher. I'll probably, once I get Big Boy, I'll switch to Striker like most people are doing. So I'm not sure why I had it like that. Yeah, it wasn't until I just clicked on him I realized he didn't even have Blue 4 yet. That's a little bit surprising, actually. I'll do that a little bit later. Anyways, that's my plan. I almost have enough to get him to gear tier. I think I need 22 times 5, so that's 110 of each. So I'm getting there. I'm almost there. So he's going to be my first character for the mutant pick for that. And we're going to talk about Dark Dimension 6 and my picks. My crazy picks is what I'm calling it tomorrow in a separate video just before the patch, because there's some things that we need to consider in terms of who we're going to be taking, especially with all the new city releases coming out. Now, the thing is that Apocalypse is very likely to still be part of that arena meta, because we saw video clips of Secret Defenders minus Doctor Strange with Apocalypse. And especially if you have Big Boy Apocalypse and Black Cat, spawns with Safeguard. And Apocalypse negates that. So it seems like there is still going to be a place, obviously, for Apocalypse in this meta. Possibly Kang as well, to beat any mirror match with a little bit of speed on the offense. So who knows? There might be just like 3 Secret Defenders and Apocalypse and Kang. I mean, I don't know yet. None of us really know at this point in time. But nonetheless, Apocalypse is obviously going to be a mainstay. As far as Super Skrull goes, I hope so, because most of us, 99% of us, probably still don't even have Super Skrull unlocked. So I think that at this point in time, I hope that he still is meta worthy and worth having and chasing after we're done with Apocalypse or whatever order that you decide to do. I think it's whether you go for this whole question of whether or not you're going for Dark Dimension 6 first or Apocalypse. You probably want to go. I think they're going to be loosening up the Blue 5 Ion bottleneck. I hope over the next little while, and I think that the trajectory probably is still that you're going to want to go for Apocalypse before Dark Dimension 6. I don't know if Super Scroll is necessarily going to be the end-all be-all in Arena, and if that's the case, you're probably not even going to see him that much, whereas you're going to see a lot of Apocalypse, whether it's small Apocalypse or big Apocalypse. So I think that that's probably still worth doing, but of course, as time goes on, it becomes a little bit more of a struggle to kind of go back and do, just because the Horseman teams will, yes, slowly become a little bit more obsolete as time goes on, and more teams become a little bit more important, and the teams get countered a lot more, and then we have to make that decision really, at some stage about how much it's worth it. And so the second part of this video, I want to show this spreadsheet that I have. It's called the Apocalypse Blue 5 Tracker. Now, this is something that I designed for myself. This wasn't necessarily for the consumption of others, but I just did this on my own because I wanted to know basically how far away I was from, getting my Apocalypse to big form. Now, obviously, there's some important information, aka that you need this much blue 4 and blue 5 ions per character, and there's a total of 23, right? So there's the four Horseman teams, plus Deathpool, plus Kestrel, and what's Kestrel, Deathpool, and I can't remember. Spiderweaver. That's right. I couldn't remember. Oh my god. I was having a little blank moment. So this is the amount that you need. And over 23 characters, this is how much you need. It's 30 million blue 4 and almost 40 million blue 5s altogether. But you do get a lot of additional blue 4 and blue 5 ions through other means, especially the apocalyptic difficulty of G17 when you get the costumes for the characters. And so this is really important to note. If you didn't know this, this information is available on MSF.gg, and you can also see it just in-game anyways when you look at the map. But you get blue 4 ions and blue 5 ions plus the crystals. You get the fully formed crystals of the blue 5, which costs a lot. And maybe I can kind of show this on Red Hulk, for example. So when you want to upgrade, it costs down here 180,000 blue 5 ions and 120,000 blue 4 ions just to craft it. And so when you finish each of the apocalyptic difficulties, you get 5 crystals at blue 5 for a specific character, for that Horseman, designed to equip on them, but you do get that worth. So you're cutting out 700,000 blue 5 ions and all the related blue 4 ions, and you really just need to pay the upgrade cost, which is normally, I forget because I don't have the crystals in there yet. But I mean, that it does save a lot of that because you don't have to do any of the fusions. And in some instances, you can actually jump straight from blue 4, straight from blue 3 to blue 5, because you can jump straight from that. So you're cutting out a significant portion of that. But of course, for some people, you had to have done that you'd had to have done blue 4 anyways to get Baby Apocalypse. But anyways, this is how much you're saving. The value of the blue 5 crystals are quite immense. Plus, you get 2.55 million blue 5 ions when you do this as well. So yeah, a lot of different blue 5 ions that you're saving in per saga. And this is the amount. You're basically saving 4.275 million blue 5 ions and 2.63 million blue 4 ions every time you clear one of these. So that's going to add to the total that you don't need because you're going to be getting it through this. And then you do get also as well, just from 510,000, this is going to be the equivalent of the crystals as well, down here. And you're going to go through this. Oh, sorry, this part here, sorry, my bad. The 510,000 is actually from the Apocalypse part, the very end part, right? And so if you actually go into that and you go into the Epic Saga, the Epic Campaigns, I don't know what it was on. I shouldn't record videos at late at night. I can't access this. But if you go to msf.gg and you check the nodes out, you will actually get this through the rewards. You get 507,000 blue 4 ions and 510,000 blue 5 ions on the various nodes as you go through the Apocalypse Saga. So that's really important. Plus the final stage, which involves Kestrel, Deathpool, and Weaver. So you add up all of this stuff, all the blue 5s that you get just from the campaigns and things like that, and it gives you a total of 19.65 blue 5 ions and 12.5 blue 4 ions. And this is basically reduced to the total that you need up here. So you remember when we talked about how much total you need is this here. These two numbers here. This is the total amount of blue 4 and blue 5 ions you need to basically get Big Apocalypse. and you reduce that, and it brings you down to 17.7 million blue 4 ions and 20 million blue 5 ions. And so that's what I mean, is that when I got to this point and I checked out my characters and I said, oh, I actually have over 20 million blue 5 ions. I was like, wow, okay, I can start doing this now. And I actually do have enough to upgrade to Big Apocalypse. I was like, I should get started on this now. And that's when I noticed that. And so we're just subtracting, you know, what you need from what you actually get from some of these campaigns that you go through that. Now, obviously, you know, it still requires your full gear tier 17 on all 23 of the characters. So you're going to need all that. But, you know, the biggest bottleneck was the ions. And that's when I started thinking about it the more that I got through. And if you already have Baby Apocalypse now, then you can kind of already think about what you're going to need. So, you know, you're obviously, if you already have Baby Apocalypse, this is going to be the total amount of ions that you're going to need after you do the apocalyptic difficulty, right? And so you don't actually need very many blue 4 ions because you're already going to have it from clearing the apocalyptic difficulty. So what does this mean? It's actually negative 1.1 ions, or what that means, 1.1 million, and that means that you're going to get a surplus of 1.1 million by the time you finish all the stuff, because any of the blue 4 ions that you needed to upgrade the crystals and things like that, you're already going to get through doing the campaign itself. It is the 20 million blue 5 ions, though, that you're going to need extra to upgrade on top of the rewards that you get, including the blue 5 crystals and beyond. So, yeah, as long as you do it in order, of course, when you're doing the blue 5s, that's really important. So make sure you're doing it in the order of Pestilence, Famine, War, and Death, because those are the nodes as you go through the adventure, and that way you can get the rewards as they go across and the little minor upgrades to Apocalypse as you go along. So make sure you're upgrading them in those orders, and if you have 20 million plus blue 5 ions, then you're good to go. Now, some people may have already been upgrading them as they go along. That wasn't me, just because I was scared a little bit. I was like, is this what I'm actually going to do? You know, I was sitting on it for a long time, like I said, and if you've been keeping up with my Discord at all, for those of you who are regulars in there, you know, probably heard me talk about why I haven't done this yet, because I was scared about what I was going to do with that blue 5 ions. It does hurt, you know, honestly, because that's a lot of blue 5 ions, especially on characters that I don't want to upgrade, that I could have put on some of the other meta characters that I don't have to do for Apocalypse, but character, you know, whether they're raid characters or other highly meta characters that I would like to put it on. Dormammu is a good example, maybe the Eternals, things that I don't need for Apocalypse, but Kang, characters that I would like to have. Why he doesn't have blue 4, I don't know. I should probably do that, honestly. There's some characters that I haven't upgraded yet that I've just been sitting on because I've just been hoarding my ions, and now is the time for me to actually get out of my shell and actually do this for my roster. I think they will appreciate the extra buffs. So that's it, everyone. Nothing super fancy here, just me kind of going through my thought process and why I'm actually doing this now and what made me think about it more so. That's the end of this video, and tomorrow we'll be talking about my Dark Dimension 6 crazy picks, because I think some people want to know, and some people want to know what insanity is going to come from that. So until next time, everybody, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.